The Almadraba it's a way of life. I started here in the fishery, it must be about 27 years ago now. My father was a fisherman, he worked here in the Almadraba. Situated in the shelter of Cape Tiñoso, beside Cartagena's La Muela mountain range, La Azohía is a small town which preserves the last small tuna fishery of the Spanish Mediterranean. For me, the Almadraba right now, well, it's everything. The Almadraba is our history, our tradition, and our wisdom. In a sea of gentle waters, from April to June, some 20 men perform a 1,000-year-old trade in small motorboats, not so different from those Phoenician skiffs caulked with bitumen with which this art of fishing began, and which, beyond the technologies applied, continues to be basically the same as at its origin. The Almadraba is a way of life. It's my job. Starting from the age of 5, I remember lots of stuff. When I was 6, 7, when I used to wait for him to take me to school every morning. 8:30 in the morning, he didn't show up to pick me up. But that's how fate wanted it. My father died very young, and my mother took charge. Difficult years for a woman to be a business owner at that time. Another misfortune. I lost my father in the 70s. In 79, my mother. I had to take charge of the fishery at age 19. So my father left a mark on me. My mother left a mark. As a mother, as a woman, as I said, as a business owner, and the bravery that she showed. She could have thrown in the towel, but she didn't. This business has been in the same enclave since the mid-20th century, and in the hands of the same family, that of Juan Paredes. It is a story of resistance against the inclemencies of fate, of the misfortunes of life. I began going out at 13 years old, in a small boat that he had, that his mother bought, and there we started to fish, with the gill net, minor skills. When I came to the fishery, I was, I don't know, about 18 years old or so. I came here to the fishery about 27 years ago now, 27 seasons, thanks to the introduction by the captain who used to be there a long time ago now. It's going very well for me. It's a trade that has gone very well for me. We start the first Monday in February. The Almadraba trap takes a while to assemble at first, when we first start putting it together. Around 30 days, 35 more or less. Fixing the nets because we store them broken, however they came out of the sea. We throw in all the anchors, so that takes a month. And then later, when you start installing the cable, hopefully the sea will let you. Because if bad weather rolls in, the boat, full of anchors, is a danger. Then you can get a week behind schedule. We finish up the cable laying process from the 12th to the 14th of March, and then we start with the fishing. April is a good month, too. Later May or June. You could include July. A few days in July can be spent fishing. As a diver, I'm one of the first ones who gets in the water, along with Fran. And we go looking at what fish there are, the type of fish, and the amount of fish there is. In the Almadraba, small fish can't get in because it has a mesh that, in some areas, is from 20 to 25 centimeters of light. Man, in the Almadraba, small fish, they can see the netting. Look how big the nets are. I think that the fish here is already too mature. If they don't leave at the beginning, as soon as we start drawing in the net, they'll realize they're cornered, and they leave. And the big fish enter through the outer nets, braveras, head towards the inner chambers, cuadro, and from the cuadro to the final net, copo. There have also been cases where we caught some dolphins, some manta rays. We have a stretcher with 4 ropes. We put the fish in. What's more, it's lovely. We throw it out from the buoy rope. When one of them gets in here, we try to get it out, doing the least possible harm, without stress. And in the same way, sunfish have gotten in. One day I took it out to avoid cutting. I fished them out, because they were small dolphins. We caught 7 or 8, and I took them out with my hands. The diver was giving them to me, and I picked them up and threw them in the water. The daily monitoring of the final copo net is the work of the Mazarrón fishery divers. They are the eyes of these men within the sea. I see how they act, what they do, and for me it is very rewarding. It's one of the things I like most about my job. The divers are also essential for the rescue and active release of species that accidentally enter the fishery traps. So the Almadraba is commercial and very sustainable. It is a fishing method that does not harm marine species. This art we fish with, it doesn't harm anyone, much less the sea. Still, there are quite a few people who are against the Almadraba trap system. But I also believe that it's because they don't know. They don't have information about Almadraba fishing, because if they had it, they would know. Almadraba fishing is one of the most sustainable forms that exist, the most selective. For a month and a half, the fishermen set up the calada, a structure of underwater streets and paths, aware that they are the architects of a final stronghold of artisanal fishing that preserves and defends the intervention of man and the management of natural resources. The Azohía Almadraba catches fish as they enter the bay. Then the tunas that we catch come from the Strait of Gibraltar, inward to spawn. And when they approach the coast is when they find themselves in the Almadraba. You have to put it where the bay ends, because that's where the fish enter the bay and have their route. And the Almadraba has a series of antechambers called the legitima and the contralegitima. What that does is cause the fish to crash against the outer net, and if it wants to leave, when it pulls outward, the legitima makes it go back towards land again until it reaches the shoreline rabera, which is the one that leads to the entrance of the chamber. When he sees the fish in the boat, which is a Miranda, when he sees the fish, he orders to hoist, and we weigh anchor, and then we take out the fish. But the one who gives the orders is the captain. The Almadraba trap network distinguishes that which is not necessary to extract from the sea. There's a small group of fish that have been chosen as targets: the bonito, the frigate tuna, albacore, mainly small tunas, but also other species, such as yellowtail or the emperor fish, and always strictly respecting the balance of the marine ecosystem. Which fishing specimens are the most profitable? Well, the small tuna, which is what we're dedicated to and what this Almadraba trap is prepared for, which is bonito, frigate tuna, and since a few years back, a hatch of small albacore. So we've got the frigate tuna, the bonito, the little albacore, the yellowtail, and the emperor, which helps a little as well. Well, normally, though it's not fixed, but yeah, you can get 8 tons, for example, 10,000 kilos, 11,000 kilos, 12,000 kilos, depending, or nothing, because there have been times when we came back without getting anything. The artisanal fishing techniques that we work with alternate according to the season and also depending on the species. This allows us to reduce the pressure of fishing on a specific species. Almadraba fishing always has an advantage, for that reason, because it's not beaten up, it's not crushed. The quality of that meat, that fish, doesn't get scraped up on the nets either. Lots of people are wanting the Almadraba to start up to get Almadraba fish for that reason, because of the quality that it has. Well, there are 18 of us in total, and as in every family, as we say, a spat here and there, but we get over it right away. It's like at home. We can have a row because of one thing or another, but a quarter of an hour later, the fight ends, then everyone gets along. At this point, we've been together for many years. The relationship with our colleagues, we're working together for 6 or 7 months, so there's always some friction, but nothing important. Very good, very good. They're fabulous companions to work with. Everyone's from here. We've known each other our whole lives. We're all from the same village, as they say, and it's really good. Always, as in all jobs, there's always friction with one or the other, but it's nothing. Very good, very good. And this is like a family. We're not... Sometimes it seems like we're going to kill each other, but as soon as we lose sight of each other, we're thinking, let's see what this one is doing or the other one is doing. Tuna fish is very regulated, and then each fishing boat, each Almadraba, has a quota. So if we get 9 or 10 tons, the rest of the 1,400, up to 9, 10 tons, isn't worth it for us. Why not? Because we have to buy quota from other fishing boats that don't want the fish. Why? Why? Because I've paid quotas at €9 to sell tuna at 11. What I'm trying to say here, that what the administration would require of us, which is what I would have been asking for many years with many arguments, I only ask for 10, 12, 15 tons. If I have any left over, let other commercial fishermen use it, or let them, the fish, stay in the sea for other years, so that they reproduce. Not to sell it like, as I explained before, the boats I buy from do. So let them give us a quota of tuna, 10, 12, 15 tons. We're not asking for 50, nor 80, nor 300 like the southern Almadraba has. We only ask nothing. The Mazarrón Almadraba is not a true tuna fishery, since its quota is negligible compared to other fisheries such as that of Cádiz, a discrimination that still continues being a cause of a dispute. The Almadraba's fishing is selective and very regulated and controlled. And then we throw the copo net on the ground, and it's just the framework. And it can take about 20 days. We go in on August 12th to 14th, because sometimes we're disassembling everything, but we're fishing. So sometimes the disassembly runs a little behind. We dismantle it, we start removing it, we start putting things away and cleaning the cable and all that, but it takes longer to install it than to dismantle it. Yes, if you ask me about my retirement, or if I see myself somewhere else, no. I don't see myself anywhere else. I want to retire here and, if possible, be a diver. The idea of what I want to do whenever I retire from here, from the Almadraba, is raising grandchildren and going for walks if I can. These men who live on this fragment of the Mediterranean, between Cartagena and Mazarrón, teach us to understand the depth of an art of old-fashioned fishing. The most complex aspect of existence is knowing how to read the sea as one can read sensations. This they do year after year, maintaining a demanding job without complaints or fatigue. They are the fishermen of the Azohía Almadraba, aware that the best treasures of the sea are those whose very skin shines. How pretty this is. It's very pretty when you're just looking around and fiddling with yourself, but to be here slogging away, it's not so pretty.